welcome to the Astro Forecast for the week of February 13th to the 19th. This week is setting us up for the really big new moon next week. So we're going to be feeling this Pisces energy coming in of intuition, feelings, emotions, boundaryless kind of flow. And we're going to need this week boundaries, y'all, boundaries, okay? So saying yes with love and saying no with love, right? Both of those things are boundaries. I just was listening to a podcast with Gabor Mate, and he said, if you don't know how to say no, then your yeses mean nothing. And I was like, bingo, I need to say that for this forecast. So thank you, Gabor. So Monday, February 13th, we start off this week in a fourth quarter phase. So the moon we actually start off in third quarter and then it moves into fourth quarter later in the day. So that means where the moon is losing light, we are now kind of feeling maybe a little bit more tired, a little bit more kind of the pizzazz is missing in our step. And that's all right. You know, all the planets are direct though, so we do have a lot of forward momentum, but around this time we can start to feel burnt out or tired, or we just kind of been going too hard, right? So it's kind of, I talked about this last week, right? We don't really have, or 2 weeks ago, we kind of have this love-hate relationship with productivity, where all the planets are retrograde, we're tired, we're feeling sad that we're not being productive, all the planets are direct, we are so productive, and then we're burnt out. So can you find that balance between being and doing? And all this Pisces energy coming in is going to be about being. No more, not about doing, being, yes, to doing, but in alignment with our being, if that makes sense. So Monday, February 13th, it's actually a great connections day, great intuition. We have the moon trine to Neptune and trine to Venus throughout the day. So we're feeling our intuition is kicking up this week, and we're feeling really lovely and amorous and connected to people, and we want to spend time with people. February 14th, which is Valentine's Day here in the Northern Hemisphere, also celebrated around the world. And Valentine's Day, I always like to look, there's no major aspects kind of happening on this day per se, but Venus is in Pisces and it's conjunct Neptune. So we're feeling really, Venus is what we love and value and rules relationships and love and romance. And Venus is in Pisces, so conjunct Neptune, meaning we just want like deep connection. We just want to feel like we're with people that get us. We want to have that soulful connections. If sexuality on this day, sex is very sensual, very compassionate, very loving and caring, and it's about hearts connecting versus raw, passionate sex. That's not Venus in Pisces conjunct Neptune. And Venus is also sextile to Pluto. That's going to come up later in the week. And this is about kind of really understanding why we love what we love. And maybe there's some things that we need to start to let go of that aren't really in alignment for us. But the sextile is making us feel like it's okay. It's easy for us to say, thank you, and I'm on to my next chapter. So it's good for love. This is a great day. There might be a little bit of frustration as the moon is opposite Mars. So this could make for some passionate sex as well. It's not bad, but it can mean frustration as well, that we're not being seen or heard or really being acknowledged on an emotional level for who we are. So that is a possibility today, but our emotions are big and we have connections. And if you speak what you need, that is going to be the opportunity. Okay, boundaries, remember, that's part of the week. Now, Wednesday, February 15th, we have our first exact aspect this week. And now aspects are going to be in play for this whole week because they're quite slow moving. So Venus, not slow moving, but they're, they sort of move through. So we call it applying, exact, and then separating. So it's sort of coming together and then moving apart, right? So Venus is going to be conjunct Neptune on this day. And remember, I talked about it's already in play on Valentine's Day, already in play earlier in the week. Now, Neptune is the fog. It's kind of this like ethereal, loving, ether, spirit, intuition. When they come together, this can be this really divine, compassionate, empathetic, really just kind of idealization of love, and connection and spirituality and intuition. So a heightened sense of intuition today. going to have deep spiritual connections, spiritual, creativity, empathy, compassion, the empowered empath. That's what this day reminded me of. I used to teach a class called the Empowered Empath, meaning you can feel your emotions and you can feel when other people have their emotions, but you can also disconnect and put up your boundaries and go, that's not for me, right? What other people think of you is none of your business. What other people feel about you is none of your business too. But as empaths, as people pleasers, as sensitives, we can often feel when someone isn't happy with us. We can often feel when our no makes someone go, oh, disappointed. They're allowed to be disappointed. They're allowed to be sad, right? We don't have to manage everybody's expectations all the time. It's okay for people to manage their own expectations. So as a recovering people pleaser myself, one of the things that I realize as someone feels, the word I'm looking for is disappointed. If they're disappointed in my answer, I have to let them be disappointed with that, because that is something within them that maybe I have created something that now they expect me to say yes all the time. So if then I've created that expectation, and I'll say, you know what, this time it's going to be a no. It just didn't feel right. A friend of mine invited me to a wonderful event that she's doing, and in my heart it was a no. And I said, I'm sorry, it's a no. I just, it sounds wonderful. It sounds amazing. I hope you have the best time. It's just a no for me. And she was like, okay, I'm going to miss you. And I'm like, I'm going to miss being there, to be honest. But there's something there that I'm not meant to be there. It was just a no, right? It's very interesting when you start to really tap into your own knowing, and your ego is going, but you're going to miss out. All these things are going to happen. All the people that you love are going to be there. And I'm like, it's a no. There's just something there. There's a no. And I'll know what that is when it comes time, why that was a no. So maybe I'm meant to stay home. So trust that. Trust your no, right? You might not understand why it's a no, but you have to trust yourself and your intuition, because that's going to be really helpful. Now, with all this Pisces energy, remember, boundaries are important. We're going to feel like we can feel other people's stuff, and we want to be there for them, and we can be there for everyone. And this can also lead you to becoming over committed, feeling like you've said yes to too many things, and now you don't have enough energy. This is not an energetic feeling. This is an ethereal feeling of connection. So be careful, because if you take on too many things now, you will feel depleted. Your energy will be leaving you very fast, very, very fast. And on this day, we have the moon is going to be square to Venus. So, and it's just very fast. Moon moves very, very fast. But this day is going to have a little bit of a test to relationships. And that's going to be another theme this week, is a test to relationships. Are the ones in your life serving you? And do they feel like they light you up and your soul is expanded and your bucket is full when you see people? Or do you feel like it's emptying? It's soul sucking. And Venus isn't just connected to people and relationships. It's also connected to money. It's created to things that we love and value, right? Our house, our job, not really, more so relationships, beauty and aesthetic, the way we feel about ourselves. So, and our connections to others, right? It's very Venusian. We like to, look good. We like to have fun and be with people. Our connection to enjoying food and drink, things like that's very Venusian. So this energy can also lead you to escapism, to drowning your sorrows in too much wine or too many chocolates. So be careful with that, because this boundaryless energy, it's like, oh, I'll have another drink. You are very, very sensitive at this time, especially with this Venus conjunct to Neptune. So if you are someone who partakes in any kind of drugs or recreational drugs, being very, very careful. We might see a higher than normal kind of, our body's very sensitive, so we take less to have more, if that makes sense. So be careful with medication as well. Thursday, February 16th, we have the Sun conjunct to Saturn. Now the Sun represents our identity, our vitality. This happens once a year. It comes back to its position with Saturn being in Aquarius this year. And I believe, next year it'll be moving into Pisces. Actually, later this year, it'll move into Pisces. So we won't have this conjunction again this year, or again for another 28, 30 years. No, probably less than that. I have to look at it. But the sun conjunct to Saturn is a very important time. Okay. Now, this is considered a constricting time. Saturn constricts. It's about fear, scarcity, but also our responsibility, our duty. Like, are you stepping up and being who you said you were? Right. So the sun is our identity, and it's in Aquarius. And Aquarius is about humanity, being there for a fellow man, doing things that are elevating consciousness in some way. And having this conjunction to Saturn is, are we being good stewards of our resources for the earth, right? Are we using the internet, Aquarius, in the best way possible? And so this can mean this day, especially, and around this day, we might see in the world more rules and regulations around the internet, around things that are kind of electronic in nature, even more, information around electricity or EMFs, or ways that those kind of waves through the air are affecting us. Are we being responsible with these kind of Aquarian type things in our world? Are we being good stewards for resources that everyone can use? So it's going to be interesting, because I think in the news, especially around this day, we can have a constriction with authority. Saturn is about the authority figure, people in government and power, but people who are authority figures, really. Government and power is Pluto, which is going to play out soon. So that Saturn conjunct the sun, or sun conjunct Saturn, as we say, is really going to be about, are we being responsible? Did you create an identity that's been really hard to kind of fulfill? And what parts of your identity are ready to fall away now, right? So if you said, I'm a good steward of money, but you're not, maybe that's kind of like, okay, I need to be responsible with that. Maybe it's time to look at parts of myself that are a little bit, maybe it's time to reframe them or see them in a new way. Okay. So a time to be responsible with our life lessons. Your identity may be causing you friction and constriction, holding you back from your dreams. Be careful not to judge, idealize, or righteousness, over people, right? Aquarius turned up too loud is righteousness, right? I know better than you. I know what's right and you are wrong, right? I know all the things, and I'm here for humanity and you are not. And it's really that us versus them when it's turned up too loud. So being careful to not fall into that. Hard work, discipline, and need for patience is going to come up. So really notice today what's coming up. The moon is going to be square to Jupiter as well. So this is going to feel like we want to expand, but we're feeling stuck, or we're feeling like we can't do what we want to do. So there might be a little bit of constriction here, and realize within yourself, where are you creating constriction? Right? Because the world is your oyster. It's really like, okay, maybe it's money, maybe it's my job, maybe it's I have grief that I haven't really recognized and worked through, and I need to do that. So now, being a good steward of your relationship with yourself, really, and humanity, what do you need to do now to kind of come into your own gifts and talents, right? You came here for a reason. Your soul chose to incarnate during this time in history. So Saturn is saying, it's time now. It's time for you to get on it. Okay. So Friday, February 17th, we have Mercury sextile to Jupiter. This is a lovely aspect. This is big ideas, big thinking, great connections with others. And Mercury is in Aquarius. So this is about our thinking, our mind, and we're thinking about big topics and elevating things, innovating, right? Doing things differently. And Jupiter in Aries is about like entrepreneurship, pioneering, doing new things. Also sort of fiery, bold, and courageous, exciting things. So Mercury and Jupiter together in sextile is going to be big ideas, confidence to go with your intuition, entrepreneurial creativity, maybe birthing something new out into the world. Contribution made by you today will benefit many. That's kind of that Aquarian and Aries energy coming together. Make plans for the future. This is a great day to plan for your summer vacation. All the planets are direct. Now's the time to start to make your vacation plans and booking your flights and your hotel accommodations and all that stuff. And with these big ideas and big, inspiration coming in today, this is going to be a lovely day to plan that. So do it. All right, Saturday, February 18th. the sun moves into Pisces. Happy birthday, my beautiful Pisces community. You guys are so beautiful and sweet and caring and kind and creative and just so ethereal. You know, I just sort of see all the Pisces people in my life, and they're so creative. And they just have this wonderful intuition, softness about them. I can't, the way I see it. So happy birthday, Pisces. Creativity, flow, feelings, empathic, selflessness, devotion, creativity, intuition. This is an emotional, creative flow state that we are in now for the next 4 weeks. And on, well, as we move more into Pisces energy, we're going to see with this, we're just going to feel more of this intuition coming in. But it's interesting because Venus is moving out of Pisces next week. So we're going to see a little bit of fire coming in at this time, which I like. I like this with this watery energy. So remember, Pisces is mutable water. It's the most sensitive sign of the zodiac. Think about water moving into all the crevices, with the pebbles and kind of filling in all those spaces. With this energy of Pisces coming in, we definitely require boundaries. We definitely require this feeling of this is mine and this is not mine. This is where you start and this is where I end. This is important because Pisces energy, represents kind of transcendence, spirituality, therapy, healing, all of these kind of concepts of kind of really tapping within that wisdom within you and that connection to the divine. So that spiritual nature is going to be coming in here, heightening our intuition, heightening our sensitivity. And if you're an empath, if you're a sensitive, an HSP, highly sensitive person, this is going to be a time where you're going to be feeling a lot. So those boundaries are really important. Pisces turned up too loud is escapism, right? I'm so connected to the divine that I'm not here on earth at all, right? Spacey, like really spacey. Escapism is also doing a lot of drugs, doing a lot of alcohol, doing a lot of eating and drinking that aren't really healthy for your body because you're trying to numb out instead of feeling the feelings, right? Instead of healing it, you're trying to run away. Passivity, right? Because it's so ethereal and so flowy, it needs impetus, it needs a spark, it needs a push to get going. So Pisces without that fire energy is going to feel like it's just flowing about. And we're like, oh, I'm feeling everything, and it's like, no, we need to get going. We need to do something with this, right? It's interesting because Pisces is the opposite of Virgo. And astrology requires us to have these dichotomies so that we can find balance, right? I'm a Virgo. And so I'm actively bringing in Pisces into my awareness, into my being nature, because that Pisces nature allows me to flow, to tap in, to just be. Otherwise, Virgo turned up too loud is doing and control and checklist and productivity and being of service and being so of service that you're sort of, tired. But Virgos have a tendency to kind of say, no, we're not going to do that. Whereas Pisces is so much about being caring and kind and being of service as well. So it's really interesting when we start to see these dichotomies. So don't be so in that ethereal state that you forget that you're also doing, that you're here to put into action this intuition. So it's that being with conscious, deliberate action creates amazing manifestation opportunities. All right. And then Sunday, February 19th, we have a Venus sextile to Pluto. So Venus is at the last degrees of Pisces at this point, and Pluto is at the last degrees of Capricorn right now. So that's a sextile 60-degree angle from each other. So this is a time when you can really channel your personal thoughts, emotions, and achieve your goals quicker, right? Pluto is about death, rebirth, and transformation. He really is about evolution, right? Cuts away anything that's no longer serving you. And the positive side here is you can let go of relationships. Maybe you can understand why you've been spending a lot of money or where you came into that money trauma in your life. Maybe you can really look at your relationships and see why you keep attracting who you keep attracting, or what's happening in your relationship that actually is indicative of an attachment wound you had from childhood, right? That is Pluto. There's a lot of healing that can come on here with this. This is great. Love intensifies. Be careful not to fixate and get possessive or jealous, right? Possessive means this is all mine. So it's a scarcity mindset. And jealousy is, I can't have that, right? Oh, look at what they have. I can't have that. I wish I could have that. And so both of those things are creating the separation from you and what you want. And it's not true. It's not true, right? You can have it all. So if that's coming up for you, look into that. Where is that coming from for you? Easy time of letting go of old things. Make room for aligned connections to come in. So if you are holding down the fort with friends that are like, oh, not so fun anymore, or doing things that are just constantly drama, then it's time to bring in some space for good, connected friends that aren't doing that. They're maybe doing really fun things like manifestation and, planting intentions at the new moon, things like that. Maybe you need to bring in more of that space, and you can't if your drain's clogged with all these other people. Excuse me. So this Venus sextile to Pluto is meant to be a very lovely aspect for you to heal and release things that aren't really serving what you really love and value, right? Your money, your beauty aesthetic, your relationships, what needs healing, what needs transforming. This is supposed to help that, right? But Pluto is an intense planet, y'all. So it can feel a little bit like, oh my God, my money. Oh my God, this relationship. Oh my God, my beauty. Oh my God, my love handles. Right? If that's you, get the hamster off the wheel, go do some meditation, go do something fun, go connect with some friends and have a good time. This is a great day to go for brunch, y'all. All right. Now I'm going to set you up for Monday because that'll be on next week's astro forecast. But on Monday, we have two major things happening. One, Venus is moving into Aries. So this is going to bring in some powerful fiery energy with like what we want, when we want it, and how we want it, right? So it's good. It's good. It's going to kind of temper some of this watery energy. And we also have a new moon in Pisces. And this new moon in Pisces is conjunct, going to be close to Saturn. And Saturn next to the moons, the new moon, so the sun and the moon together, is a little bit constriction. It's a little bit of, being responsible, and where are we not being responsible for humanity and, the collective as well. So this is going to be an intense time. It's at the first degree of Pisces as well. So just setting you up. Monday is going to be an intense time. So take the Sunday, relax, and we're going to go in with a mindset of groundedness, of connection to self next week. So stay tuned to the astro forecast for that. I got you covered. And remember, this is the weather, right? This is the astro weather. So you know what's coming. You can plan your life. This isn't about going, oh my God, it's going to be strong. No, it's going to be interesting. It's a new moon. It's a great time to plant intentions for something that's going to come to fruition in your life in 6 months from now. So that's energy that you can use, right? If we understand how to use the energy, we can use our sails of our intuition, use our motor of our ego, of our beautiful, smart mind, and start to put these things into action for our highest and best. Okay. I'm giving you all the tools. We're doing this together. No one left behind. All right. Wishing you a wonderful week ahead. Thanks for being here. I appreciate you. I will talk to you soon. Bye.